Hello and welcome to the new moon video. This is a very exciting and empowering new moon. That will be the message of this new moon. It's an energy of empowerment. This new moon will be happening in the sign of Aries. We have the sun in Aries, Mercury in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, and Chiron in Aries. Aries is the beginning, the first zodiac. Pisces is the last zodiac. So it's where we complete a lot of aspects of our lives, where we look back. Pisces is about clearing out our deep emotions, our feelings, our healing and transformation on a physical, mental, and emotional level. Now, that's the energy of Pisces. When this new moon happens, it happens at 0 degrees of Aries, the sun and the moon. So, Aries being the first energy, the first sign, it's the astrological new year, and 0 degrees of Aries is when this new moon is happening. It's about new beginnings. New beginnings that you want in your life for you. And you'll be feeling very determined, as Mars is an energy of determination, right? Mars is an energy of action and also aggression and feeling quite aggravated. And we need to be aware, especially because Mercury is in Aries, that means that our communication can come across quite aggressive in tone. We could either be speaking that way to others, or others can be expressing themselves that way to us. So be aware of your tone during this time. Great new moon for manifesting and focusing on the new beginnings you want in your life for you. Now, Jupiter is in Aries conjunct Chiron in Aries. Jupiter is beneficial, it's expansion and growth, it's good luck and opportunity. And Chiron is about our wounds. Right? It's where we feel hurt, we feel vulnerable, we feel victimized, we feel betrayed, we feel taken advantage of by others. And they're conjuncting each other. So if the communication is very difficult during this new moon, very direct and to the point, you will find your Chiron wounds being activated of sensitivity in the sign of Aries, and about how you were handling matters. And personally, you would take it very personally, because Aries is about self. It's the first house. It's all about self. So you can take it very, very personally, and we all will be feeling pretty sensitive. Although Jupiter in conjunction with Aries is a great time for healing, especially old wounds. And you could use this new moon as a step to empowerment and no longer want to be victimized within your life. What is also very important to be aware of with this new moon is that we have this new moon in Aries on the 21st of March 2023, and then on the 19th of April 2023 we are going to be having a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So this new moon is the first new moon, and then we have a new moon solar eclipse, and we'll be in eclipse season. So be prepared for what happens during this new moon, for you to keep in mind and be aware of. Write it down, make notes, because it will be a story that unfolds later when we have the solar eclipse on the 19th. New moon solar eclipse on the 19th of April 2023. So new beginnings, fresh starts, determination, focused on self, great for manifestation, great for being very direct. If there's someone that you need to be very direct with your speech, this would be the time to do it, especially if you're not wanting to pay attention to their feelings. This is not a time where we are having an Aries new moon and we are communicating, especially with Mercury in Aries. We are very focused on self, so we're not really being aware or considerate of other people's feelings. We're focused on our own feelings at the time. So be prepared that everyone is focusing on themselves at the moment. And the communication that might come across to you is very much revolving around self. For some people, that can be very hard, especially if you're the type of person that considers others and taking everybody's feelings into account. It's when you might be finding this energy very difficult to be around. Great for manifesting, though. I would say this is about empowerment, stepping up, standing up against oppressors, people that we feel victimize us, people that take away our power. Aries is about power. So where do you stand with your power, and how can you hold on to being empowered for you, and what choices can you make about how you want to move forward? Beautiful new moon for stopping victimization. Beautiful new moon for all of those kinds of energies. Now, not only is Jupiter conjunct Chiron in Aries that's creating us to be a bit sensitive and touching on our deepest wounds, so we can feel emotional when we are triggered emotionally by the Chiron wound. The Chiron wound is a deep wound. It's our sensitive spot. And it's where someone says something to us that really puts us in that sensitivity. And we need to be aware of that. I would say this new moon is best for focusing on you, your movements, and your plans of what you want going forward within your life. It will be less about focusing with others. And if you're trying to focus with others, or might even have group communication or one-on-one communication, it might be very difficult because Mercury is in Aries. You are more in the headspace mentally to be expressing yourself about you. And that can come across to the other person, like you talking just, where do I fit in? And the other person might also be doing that. So there's no harmony in bridging communication. It's an excellent new moon for setting boundaries, saying no, if you need to do that with someone. Very good for that kind of energy. Now, we also do have Mars in Gemini, squaring Neptune in Pisces. Now, why is Mars important? Well, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is a god of war, and Mars has been in Gemini for 7 months. This means for 7 months, you've been working on one area of your life due to the Mars retrograde that happened last year in 2020 and ended in January of 2023. But Mars obviously was slow due to its retrograde, so that's why it had an extended stay in the sign of Gemini. And we'll be changing signs on the 25th of March 2023. So thank goodness we can all now take action to different aspects of our lives. Now, a Mars retrograde can leave us feeling very frustrated. We could have had communication that was very difficult with others, conflict, frustration, accidents. A lot of that energy is Mars, frustration, anger, right? And this is a time where you could have come across that within your relationships, other people's frustration, anger towards you. And this Mars square Neptune makes us feel very confused. However, this new moon is telling us to step up and take empowerment towards the choices that we need to make. Mars is wrapping up its day in the sign of Gemini. So that can feel very, especially when a sign is completing its stay in a sign and it's about to move into another sign, which will be happening on the 25th of March 2023, where Mars will move into Cancer. We can feel as though we have to process everything that has happened the past 7 months. Where do we feel victimized? Where do we feel let down? Where do we feel frustrated? Where do we feel aggravated? Who pushed our buttons? Who belittled us? Who took advantage of us? All of those feelings come to the surface. And this Aries new moon is telling you to step up and stand within your power. We will be very confused though about the action that we want to take. Remember, this is the first new moon, and we'll definitely know moving forward when we have the solar eclipse in Aries on the 19th of April 2023, right? 19th, 20th, depending on your location, but the 19th of April. So this is a powerful time for us to take the first steps towards empowerment about where do we feel frustrated, where do we feel let down, and where do we feel picked on, bullied, victimized, all of those kinds of energies, especially because of Mars finishing up its stay in the sign of Gemini, and Mars being very important within this new moon because Aries is ruled by Mars. We do have Saturn that has recently entered into Pisces. So we'll be very aware of emotional boundaries, as Saturn is the planet of boundaries and Pisces is the sign of emotions. So we'll be stipulating where our emotional boundaries are. And that's kind of good. It won't be making us feel, Pisces is all about deep emotions, and Saturn will restrict that energy of our emotions. So this can help us to stand in our power, to step up, to take charge. What do you want to manifest? How can you go after it? What has left you feeling frustrated over the past 7 months about what you wanted to call into your life? You now don't care too much about the how with manifestation. It's not about the how. It's about focusing on what do you want to do and taking action towards it. Now, beautiful news. This is the best part too of this new moon. We have Venus that has entered into Taurus that happened on the 16th of March 2023, and it'll be conjunct the North Node. And the North Node is also in Taurus. Venus is about love, finance, beauty. North Node, we can find very destined moments when it comes to our love and the opportunities that are coming to us. The North Node is about, especially when it's connected in the same sign, conjunct in Venus in Taurus, Venus in Taurus and North Node, we can really get these opportunities of what do we want to do about relationships, opportunities about what do we want to do with our finances and how can we grow, Venus loves to be in Taurus. It's at home in Taurus, and we definitely are giving ourselves what we need in Taurus. Taurus is also about comfort and feeling good. So we'll be guided to what makes us feel good emotionally, financially, spiritually, in alignment to feeling comfortable and good for ourselves. So this is a beautiful and empowering new moon. I do want to make you aware that Capricorn, which is a cardinal sign like Aries, is in the last degrees. It's at the 29th degree of Capricorn, and it's about to change signs on the 23rd of March 2023 and move into the sign of Aquarius. Now, Pluto is known in mythology as Lord of the Underworld, and it's very transformative, and it transforms our deepest and darkest fears through crisis. And the 29th degree in astrology is known as the critical degree, the anaretic degree. It's a time of fated moments. It's also a time we can feel like giving up, losing hope, especially when we have to deal with the last degrees of a sign. So, and Pluto has been in Capricorn for the past 15 years. So this is a big thing happening very close to the new moon happening on the 21st. So be aware that, especially if you have cardinal placements in your chart, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, and we all have it somewhere within our chart, that this is where crisis can happen. This is where we can feel like giving up. This is where we can feel we're at our breaking end. No, the energy will shift, especially when Pluto moves into Aquarius. We'll be dealing with a different kind of energy. But this is transformation and a critical point in an area of your life of transformation. Pluto is Lord of the Underworld in mythology. It's a time of deep healing of psychological fears. It is a time where crisis can arise within your life. But thank goodness for this Aries new moon, which will help you stay empowered and strong about the choices you make moving forward. And I just wanted to bring that to light, especially because we are wrapping up a big 15-year cycle. So this is pretty important. It's pretty relevant. And we'll definitely be feeling like, oh, I feel like giving up. I feel like I don't know what's the next move, or even a crisis can happen. So be very much in your area of strength with Aries. That's what the new moon is giving you, and a new way forward. So if a crisis happens and your area of your life needs to transform, trust that the Aries new moon is moving you in a direction that's in alignment to what you want and is more relevant to you. Trust the process of the universe. Thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe. My website is linked down below if you like an Aries new moon reading. And have a beautiful, blessed new moon, and definitely manifest during this new moon.